Hello and welcome to our debut episode, maybe our only episode of this show. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 games of 2023. I'm Joe.
I'm Cowan.
Yes, we're going to be doing
This episode might not actually ever air anywhere.
Maybe. Well, we're going to go for our top 10, so it's not redundant. If, like, when we say our game on the list, we'll go back and forth. If it's later on one of our list, we'll save what we're going to say about it till it gets to the other person's list. If it's not on the other person's list, we'll just both talk about the game. So let's say my number 10 is Process Elimination. Is that on your list?
Is that actually your top number 10?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was a lot better than, say, Inescapable. And playing Inescapable makes me think that Process of Elimination is a way better game. But no, it is not on my top 10.
All right, so since it's not on your list, but it's on mine, we'll talk about it now. Knockoff of Danganronpa, a cheap knockoff. What I like about it is, there's not much of it. I do like the gameplay. It's rather unique. I don't think there's many other games like it.
They don't explain that gameplay at all. I remember when I first played it, I was like, what am I doing here? There's like no tutorial or anything. They just put you in and hey, play the game. And as you said, since it's not like any other game, you don't know what they do because it's not like anything else. They just do it and like, here, go play Process of Elimination. Well, I mean, there's a lot of like visual novel stuff before the gameplay.
There's several hours like between the gameplay actually, where it's like on like a board and you're moving your detectives around. Like you said, it's not very explained very well, but what I also like about the story is you can there is something you can figure it out. They give you all the clues to figure it out. It's not like Danganronpa where there's no way you're going to predict how Danganronpa then.
I actually did figure out a lot of this actually.
Yes, because the clues are there. Like it's actually something you can do. Oh, I get it. I see.
An alien Mothman did not do it, so it's not going to be any of that nonsense. We're like, well, how am I supposed to guess it was alien Mothman?
I don't think any of the characters are as strong as the strongest Danganronpa characters, but none of them are as annoying as the worst characters. So that's a
they don't have extreme personalities, I guess. They're not at the best, and they're not at the lowest.
All right.
I liked Armored Detective.
I liked Armored Detective, too. I also like Mystic Detective. All right, what is your number 10?
Oh, Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2 is my number 9, so we can talk about it. This fits in right.
I thought you were going to have it a lot higher than I did.
No, I have it 9. It's kind of the combat. Basically any Remedy game, I think the combat's janky.
I like Control's combat.
I did not like Control's combat.
No, you didn't use half the abilities. I'm looking at the trophies.
True.
You didn't unlock most of them.
But let's talk about
Alan Wake, yeah. Actually, yeah, I don't know, I can't really say what it is about the gameplay of Alan Wake 2, but the fighting and the combat, a lot of it didn't feel that good. I compared it to Resident Evil 4, and it feels a lot less smooth, and
I can't quite put my finger on inventory management's like a chore. That's
I don't really think I had much of inventory management problems.
Just moving things around, it was like annoying.
I didn't really have to
moving things to the storage box and back and forth. That was really not good.
I don't remember really having that many things in my storage box.
Right, regardless about the combat, though, I think the story, though, is the best part of the game. That's more of the presentation.
Kind of doesn't end.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a spoiler, but kind of doesn't have an ending.
It doesn't have an ending. No. But I think the presentation, like the way they implement live action and music, Remedy is usually really good at that. I think this is the best instance of it. Like how they do it.
Yes.
Like has one of the best moments in all of gaming this year.
Yeah. They put it a little early. I think they should have put that no closer to the end because they can't top that once that happens.
Yeah, that's the same. Like once that moment passes, though, like you expect something to be like that again, but it
you expect it to be near the end, but the game just kind of ends. There's no big climax to it.
You sound quite negative on Alan Wake 2, but it's your number 9.
It is my number 10. It's my number 10.
It's my number 9. Yeah.
I do sound quite negative about that. But, I did like. I really loved Coffee World.
There's some great levels. I do think that is true. All right, what was your number 9?
Pikmin 4.
That did not make my number 10.
Almost didn't make my top 10.
It's not on my top 10, so we'll talk about it now.
I genuinely thought it wasn't going to make it, but Pikmin 4 is way too easy, which I understand in some aspects, because Nintendo feels like, in general, they're going goofier and easier for kids and stuff.
It outsold all of the other Pikmin games combined.
Oh, well, that means we're getting Pikmin 5 for sure.
Well, the problem is, like you were saying, the reason it's not on my list, it's too easy. I feel like it's a huge step back from the past Pikmin games. It's like in the strategy, like you only have one captain. How did we go from one captain in Pikmin 1, 2 in Pikmin 2, 3 in Pikmin 3, to back to 1 for Pikmin 4?
I thought 4 would be too much.
You got that dog, but I think the game's more about the dog than it is about
Ochi is overpowered playing, basically, and Ochi annoyed me. I don't like Ochi. I didn't like seeing his big stupid face. He reminded me too much of a Leo dog. I don't want to look at that. Get out of my way, Ochi. And they require you to use Ochi so much. Once again, I'm sounding super negative. I'm sounding negative about everything.
It's not on my list, so I can sound negative.
But I like the dungeons. It reminded me of Pikmin 2. It's not as solid as Pikmin 2.
Oh, I think the controls are really. I think it controls well.
Also, the original Pikmin games are actually very dark with Pikmin 1 and 2. Pikmin 4 is not dark.
I was going to say, the sound design just in the Pikmin series in general, like those eyes of the Pikmin when they're dying, it sounds so horrifying. This is the music, too. The music's iconic.
Oh,
the countdown music.
Pikmin theme 2 and End of Day. They call that. I thought its official name for it. It might actually be called just End of Day. I know that was his ultimate for Smash Bros.
Yeah, but I do like the presentation other than Ochi.
Ochi.
I like that parts of the game and the controls. The story's really dumb.
Oh, the rescuing people takes forever. They expect you to do so many of the glow Pikmin missions, which are also kind of broken though. I broken easy. I mean, after a while I skipped to the hardest one and I just shreked those enemies.
I actually kind of thought they're kind of satisfying how easy they are, but that would just be me.
Well, the hard beats are easy. I beat the hardest one super easily. The glow Pikmin are like, there's no difficulty in this world. The Pikmin can just move out at night. Now that they got the glow guys with them. Final Fantasy 16.
Whoa. Well, we're not going to talk about that yet because that's higher up on my list. So number 8 for me would be Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I'm trying to remember. I think I have that at 7, so I think we're both...
We're right next to each other?
Yeah, that's 7. So,
okay, we're close. So the first, the first 10 hours are, magical. Those are really, it's really good. You're like,
when you're confined to Hogwarts, it's the best.
Yes. When you're at Hogwarts, Hogwarts is great. Did a good job portraying Hogwarts like you would think in a video game would look like.
How you'd explore it and stuff.
You feel like you're actually at Hogwarts. Like the music, the way they implement everything, it's so good. And then all that other open world stuff happens.
Now when I think about it, that open world was kind of dead. There's actually not seeming to be that much in a lot of it.
A lot of it's not. It's not the Hogwarts simulator I was hoping for. It seems like that way at the beginning, but then you're like, oh, you go to class once, then you never get to go to class again.
Cutscene and you do. What do you do in the class other than the cutscene? I can't actually remember.
I feel like there's a mini. I think there's a mini game sometimes.
But they are. They're not actually very memorable.
It's good. Also, your other students they're barely in the game. I do think Sebastian's side quest. That's more interesting in the main story. That should have been the main story.
Actually, yes. Sebastian's side quest should have been the main. The main story is something about Goblin. The Goblin openly menaces a student of Hogwarts in Hogsmeade, threatens to kidnap him into free broomsticks.
With tons of witnesses.
And there's no repercussions for that. No one tries
to. This headmaster does not care.
Yeah, the game kinda at least they kind of say he doesn't care.
You also performed the killing spell. Pretty much everything.
Run around the countryside, Avada Kedavraing every fool you see.
And no one cares. It was the old days though, so they didn't care. But the first couple hours though, that's really good.
Yes, the start of the game is the best part. Well, not the very stuff. But...
I was going to mention about Sebastian's quest. I also liked how you actually had characters interacting with each other.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't really happen. The students kind of fade into the background and aren't... Even your main students don't do anything in the story. They, show up briefly to, hey, I'll help you out with the... Yeah,
there's a few of them only. The rest of them just kind of stand there and never say anything.
Doesn't do anything. You can basically cut a meat out.
Well, it is crazy how many characters they are, but but the problem is they don't give them to do anything.
Yeah, they just kind of stand.
Hopefully they improve that.
Are they just going to make a sequel? Are they just going to have the same Hogwarts map?
Maybe they
are they going to pull Yakuza and just do the same map?
If they do cut off the open world. I don't want to go to the open world. The only thing cool about the open world is flying in your broom. But after that, we don't need all of that.
Hippogriff and other things too.
I did not want to ride a hippogriff. All right, number 7, I have Dead Space Remake.
Oh, Dead Space. Ew, I don't even have that.
You don't have it on your top 10?
No.
How do you not have Dead Space on your top 10?
I didn't actually think it was that good, to be honest. Because a lot of times I'm like, more aliens jump me, better saw off the limbs. And
you know how satisfying it is, though, cutting them up with the Ripper and flame throwing them? That is feels so good.
It was too... I didn't realize... It was like a chore I was doing. Ooh, spooky! Then you shoot them with a flamethrower, and then you whip them up, and then you're like, okay, get out of my way, you crazy.
I'm going to say it's not... I don't know why everyone keeps saying Dead Space is scary. It is not a scary game. But I think the gameplay feels so good. I like the atmosphere is actually good, like the way of the sound design. The sound design is scarier than anything else in the game. Like sometimes when that music...
That is true.
That music in the background kicks on.
Sound is scarier than the monsters are.
The monsters, you have so many weapons, why would I be afraid of these?
Even in that area when you're, running through poison mist and stuff and the undefeatable guy chasing me, I find it was more goofy than scary.
Yeah, you have so many weapons, there's no reason to be afraid. You can kill everything. You're a killing... I don't know why Isaac's a killing machine.
He's supposed to be an engineer, and he's using all these tool. I don't know how these things could possibly fit in the universe. An engineer using welding tools is taking them out pretty handily.
Regardless how that doesn't make sense, I really liked the gameplay. Once I got to the end of it, it was kind of like a part where I wasn't ready to be done playing it.
No, that was the opposite. I'm like, oh, good, it's over.
I mean,
I think I like Dead Space very much.
I think that's one of the best compliments you can give a game is when you're at the end, you're like, oh, I wanted to keep going. I had a bunch more ammo. I wanted to kill more things.
I did not want to kill more things. I hated the zero gravity segments.
They weren't as bad as I thought they'd be. I didn't think it was that bad, but you didn't play The Expanse, so maybe that's why I liked it so much.
I thought that's a Telltale game. Are you actually moving in zero
Most of the game is you're moving in zero gravity, and it's really, really bad. I don't want to talk about The Expanse here. Let's not talk about The Expanse. This isn't the worst games of 2023. Oh, my number 6 is Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, well, that's way lower than I have it.
Okay, so we'll be moving on to your 6.
Which is Armored Core 6.
Oh, I have that way higher.
Oh.
So we're not going to be talking about that for a while. All right, so we're going to my 5. My 5 is Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh, I don't even have that in the top 10.
How do you not have...
But I told you that story was so obnoxious. I wanted to punch the main character in the face so many times.
The story's not great, but I do...
the villains, they all treat him as these horrible, murderous people that they all get sympathy for. They're like, oh no, I'm sorry. My dad going around butchering people and laughing about it. And you're like, oh, wow, these guys are sympathetic. These guys are not sympathetic in any way. The gameplay of the now Fire Emblem games is good, yes.
I think the gameplay is the best. They improved it a lot of ways. I'm going to say this already. It's satisfying, I think.
They improved the gameplay for everything.
The gameplay, it's how strong the gameplay is. Like when I close my eyes at night and the game just starts playing in my head. That rarely happens.
Games in my head.
That rarely. I don't know. It just starts playing in my head when I'm going to sleep. But it had happened with Fire Emblem. That's how.
I did not like this. I thought this was a huge step back in the Fire Emblem.
I was engaged though enough that
Engaged?
Yes. I usually play multiple games at once, but like with Fire Emblem Engage, I just wanted to focus on that game, even if it wasn't the best story.
I'm remembering these stupid stories.
I think it's
Pepsi Man is the absolute worst.
I like that it's more straightforward. The story,
it's straightforward, but it's not like it's terrible. I don't like it. Cactus obnoxious.
I don't know. I'm gonna be very confused what you're gonna have at the top of this list because what was that? My 5? Yeah, so it's your 5.
Oh, this is why, because Roland...
Oh, that game was terrible.
It's too hard, I was like.
Okay, I didn't play it very long.
They front-loaded the difficulty, which was very... Well, I guess they're trying to filter out you, but...
Honestly, I knew I wasn't going to like it because it involves a lot of parrying, and I can't parry anything.
Yes, if you can't parry anything, you're not going to have a fun time.
So I cannot offer much
all
more.
About parrying. I think gameplay-wise is probably the best of Team Ninja's outings. Boss designs, too many times it kind of trends towards guy with sword, a guy with spear. But there's actually some very unique bosses here at the end. And unlike Saturn games, Alan Wake, I actually like the climax of the story here, even though it's...
So the story's good?
Yeah, story's good. You get more out of it if you know anything about Romance of the Three Kingdoms, because it's basically just a copy and paste of that story, so... That's why Blue Boo... He's one of the only boss fights that really challenged me there, though. That makes sense, because he's Blue Boo.
I fought the monkey, that's when I stopped playing.
Well, that monkey becomes a normal enemy.
That's when I heard that, that's how I knew it was a good idea, I stopped.
Yeah, you fight multiple of those guys. It's actually an ape, I think. But you fight multiple of them later on. But
did not
the
have
thing is,
you're
supposed to master the game that you start crushing them, and so quickly, like, wow, this guy used to be a boss, but you adjusted to the game, and you got good enough that now you beat him just immediately.
Yeah, I'm not going to parry.
There's actually, you can actually make it a lot easier. Well, as it gets to the early game, you can't, because you don't have your leveled up side. You can level up your side guys, and they're actually very confident. So the NPC dudes come with you. They can take a lot of damage and deal damage out. And if you grab all the rally flags on the map, you'll be over-leveled to the enemies.
Sounds good, but I'm not going to play it
anymore. You couldn't do that at the beginning anyways. You have to get past the filter bosses.
My 4 is Final Fantasy 16. So would you have it at?
I had it at 8.
Okay, so we'll talk.
It actually moved up. I originally had it lower.
I think it's some of the best moments of Final Fantasy games I've played. Just how some of the highs are really high, I think, of this game.
The lows are very low.
I do think there's a game, like the game should have... After Bahamut, the game kind of ends. It should have ended. But I really enjoyed the story at the beginning, especially how much world building there is and how many different factions and characters are.
The fact that a lot of it doesn't get payoff, though, is disappointing.
That is disappointing. Basically, everything after Bahamut kind of loses agency.
Bahamut boss fight's really good. One of the best moments of the year.
Yes, that's why it should have been the end of the game, honestly. It ties all the story we've presented to end, but the game just basically begins again after that. But I really like
Final Fantasy 16-2, half the game, basically.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what the game becomes.
Oh, the music. I also love the music. I think the music's great, the boss fight.
Some of the boss fight music is weird. Remember when it runs out of the epic part and it goes to the
like
the
simple
twinkle part, and it's like.
But I like that. I like that.
I don't know. I didn't like. That always flew me off when it did that. Like, just stay with the epic part because there's a twinkle Titans punching you, and I'm like,
okay. I really like the combat though. Also,
combat I feel like ran out its course eventually. At the end of the game, I didn't want to play that combat anymore. Like, can this end? It's like the Tales of Arise style.
No, I did not get the Tales of Arise. I understand what you're talking about, Tales of Arise. By that time, you were at the end. You were like, "I'm done with this." It didn't go on long enough for that.
The whole ending after a certain point, I feel
At
like
a certain point, yeah, I was ready to move on with the story, but it wasn't to the point like, wow, this is taking too long. It's not long. I don't think it's long. And let me do all the side. You did all the more side quests.
Yes, I didn't do. I eventually had to stop because I was done with doing the side stuff. Some of it's good. The rest is just really bad side stuff that doesn't really put much thought or effort into. I hated that stupid old lady so much.
Yeah, I didn't like the old lady either.
There's another cat back there I wanted to punch in the face. Violence against old women is allowed.
But the boss fights so good, except for Odin. Odin's was kind of like, but we keep going to negative stuff.
Well, I'm a very negative man, apparently.
Boss fights, I love the boss fights. I love the music. I love some of the moments. All right, that was my number 4 game. What's your number 4?
Resident Evil 4.
It's my number 3 game. It's my number 3, so
Oh.
we can talk about it now. I do think it feels like the video game in like the best ways possible. Like it's over the top, and that game.
I feel like it was a remake that actually modernized the game, and the game actually felt super modern, and basically it felt like it was a new release, unlike some other remakes. Dead Space.
Inventory management better than Alan Wake 2.
I never really had a problem with inventory. That's true. I actually liked moving things around and have to stick them in a specific order.
I also like the shooting range. Shout out to the shooting range. I love the shooting range. I beat the last one on one try. Stranger,
like
great character. I mean, he's not new, but he's also great.
Oh yeah,
merchant.
The story is goofy in the best way, unlike some of these other stories that are goofy in bad ways. I feel like if being goofy actually helps this.
I also like how they changed things from the original game. Like Luis got a bigger role in it, or is it Luis? It's Luis.
Luis? I think it's Luis.
He had a bigger role in the game. It made
like
more sense. His role in the game made more sense.
I like the original.
The minecart sequence. I love the minecart sequence.
Usually I hate minecarts in games, but yes, I did like the minecart. You know, it doesn't really make sense that all these cultists, they're on their own minecarts coming at you.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like it feels like a video game in the best way possible. Like this, it feels so weird, but it feels so good.
And Leon is still one of the coolest video game characters ever.
All right, you're number 3.
Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I had that at 6, right? Yes.
Okay. Yes. It's not as good as Breath of the Wild, otherwise it'd probably be taking home the 1. But it relies too much on Ultra Hand. I'm not really negative if you're more creative than I am, but I am not, as Little Big Planet taught me, I'm not very creative when it comes to building things. So I didn't use Ultra Hand very much.
I think Ultra Hand's well implemented, like within the shrines and stuff, and the dungeons.
The shrines, yes. Outside the shrine, I didn't really
I did not want to use it outside the shrine.
Something I really like shrines is that you can actually solve them and just break them in ways that aren't intentional.
That is like one of the best things about the game is you can just do something wacky with things and still solve it, but you don't have to do the exact formula. You can figure it out on your own by doing something really dumb.
Yeah, so if you're not smart enough to figure out what they want you to do, just build a super long ramp with all the pieces, and you can just literally. It's better, but it's still mostly flashbacks, but.
I do something weird, like a lot of people forgot who you are. I don't know why.
Yeah, a lot of NPCs like completely forgot Link helped them. They're still like canonical, clearly, there was things that happened, that Link did help these people.
Oh, that's true, too.
But they just don't remember Link. I feel like they did improve on the dungeons, but I still don't, they're not as what I wanted.
I think they're like, the dungeons are still, I didn't think there was much of a difference from these dungeons from the dungeons in the...
Other than the desert one, I feel like the desert one's a little... But it still, again, kind of relies on... breaks however many things to open the boss room. I wanted more traditional rooms and.
I do think though, it's a lot of times though it's too much of Breath of the Wild, where I'm like to the point like okay.
After Breath of the Wild came out, every open world game was trying to emulate Breath of the Wild.
Yes, but it feels like anything that I think is going to change the game industry in the same way.
That is
for better and for worse.
Not as innovative.
Well, I mean, like it got me to the point where I'm like, I don't actually want to go back to classic Zelda now. I'm done now with this. That's what my feeling was after finishing Tears of the Kingdom. Also, I want to mention that I heard that end sequence in Tears of the Kingdom was one of the best ever, but I did not. I don't understand. I didn't think it was that great.
I don't even think it's the best Legend of Zelda end sequence. I feel like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess is more than that. Even Skyward Sword is a pretty great one.
Oh, I love Skyward. I probably like Skyward Sword more than most people.
Yeah, probably. That's
But this isn't a
true.
Skyward Sword conversation.
That's 10 years ago. Bro, this is Tears of the Kingdom, not Breath of the Wild. Still, it was one of the best games. Despite there's some negatives, still one of the best games, my number 3 game of the year.
I think it's my number 6. Okay, anyways, so we're at number 2. I'm going to talk about Armored Core 6, which
Right.
you had. What'd you have that at? Way too
I
low.
think I had that at 6. Yeah,
Well, again, like
that's
this
6.
combat's so good. It feels so good. Like most of the boss fights are.
A lot of
so
times I'm
good.
just wrecking things with my dual Gatlings and song
I feel so good though when you do that.
That is true, yes. Especially since you have to figure it out.
But I think the most surprising thing to me is like how much I like the story. I didn't
You
think
know, it all just comes in text box and
text box,
voiceovers.
text box
That's what I thought.
voiceovers.
They told a surprisingly compelling story without you ever actually seeing a person's face.
There's so many characters too in it. A lot of them you got to get to some of like the characteristics from reading like their bios and stuff. But like there's so much there actually to the story that.
Red Run, that holds that.
Oh yeah, the red guns.
Yes, Red Guns.
The story's really compelling. I didn't realize there's gonna be like so many choices in the game that there's only like 3 endings though overall, but it's still. But the combat, I really like most of these boss fights. I actually liked the mission structure too. I like how there were short missions in between.
The long ones.
Yes, when you had long boss fights that there was like your typical From Software. It was always a long fight.
True, very much. There weren't as many of those that are fought.
That is true. And some of them you can cheese, like you said, with your dual Gatling guns.
Gatlings and songbirds.
The final boss though gave me a lot of trouble actually.
I did not have very
I had to
much
find
trouble
like
with
the perfect way to cheese it.
Other than the giant bulb, well, some of the others did too, but other than that was the one that really gave me trouble. The rest I kind of just could do.
Also, I do like the customizing your mech. I gave mine a pretty ugly color scheme, but I wanted purple.
I did green and yellow. I was green and yellow.
That's purple and baby blue.
I
I thought orange.
You're gonna give the enemies an ISO of blowing them
Purple
up.
and orange was played out, and I thought purple and gold was played out. So I like purple and
Those
baby
are played
blue.
out because those colors go well together.
Yeah.
Purple and baby blue do not go well together. That's,
Why was it so low on your list though?
because I liked other games a lot more.
It didn't sound like it.
Well, I didn't have anything bad to say about Wulong Resident Evil.
No, that's true.
Tears of the Kingdom was, I really liked it, but Ultra Hand kind of dragged it down.
But for a while there, I thought Armored Core 6 was going to have the best story in basically all year. That's what I thought when I played it. That actually didn't come true. There's one game I think has a better story, but we'll get to that later. So, what's your number 2?
Clearly the game you're thinking of with the better story, Lies of P.
Oh, Lies of P. Lies of P did not make my list.
Oh, my number 2 did not make your list.
Yeah.
Has a great atmosphere, art direction, story. I really like that story. And we were talking about characters. I really like the characters here in Lies of P. They're actually well developed and fleshed out more than you would think they would be in a basically Souls-like game.
Yeah, I did not like most of the boss fights. To me, felt too samey. I didn't.
There were some same, but I actually felt like there's quite a unique variety of them.
Some of the combat too. I don't know. Something about I don't know if it's too slow
Not
or
as tight as Bloodwoman's fat. They updated it too. There was originally like staggering with your dodging and stuff. They updated that to make that like smoother, but it didn't
fix it for me.
Problems with that.
They had the last update to make everything easier again, and I still couldn't. I still had to settle for the bad ending.
I beat that final boss. It is hard though.
I had a lot of trouble in a lot
Not
of these.
Nameless King level hard, but
I feel like I guess I didn't struggle too many with most bosses because I did beat them, but it felt like I was struggling more with each boss than in a normal FromSoft game.
I really liked the music. That's another part that I really enjoyed, the music of the game, and it really fit the themes and areas of it. The obligatory Poison Swamp, I'm bringing it up because it wasn't actually that good. That's probably one of the weakest parts of the game. But all the other areas I really liked, especially when you're into town. There's the Belle Epoque air. Yeah, I dropped you for Belle Epoque air.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if you look it up if you don't, it's a historical term.
Yeah, I don't know. The combat just didn't gel with me. I don't know.
I really
something
liked
was
the
off
combat.
about it. I did not.
You got your puppet arm. You didn't really meddle around with those, but I love meddling with his puppet arms, with his gun or his zipline. Not really zipline. Zipline's the monsters, yeah. His flamethrower. I didn't actually use flamethrowers as often as you think.
I can't remember what I was using.
You can craft your weapon handles and blades, but half the time I didn't need to because weapons are designed a specific way, and mixing them kind of gets you not the best of both worlds.
I did like the ending. I liked the ending.
Oh, it had a great ending.
But I This game did not sit well with me. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it though. What I really annoyed me about this game.
Well, I liked it enough to put it at number 2.
And it's not even on my top 10. That's like one of the biggest differences between our lists.
I think it's by far the biggest difference.
We had very close ones on our list, but we haven't had anything the same. But I believe at this point our number ones are the same.
What was your 2 again?
Armored Core.
Oh yeah. Are you speaking to chat the same?
I hope it's the same.
I think I'm sure the people listening to this know that there's a obligatory. Yes, it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, mine number 1 is Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's like the sequel to Dragon Age Origins we didn't get, and because
I got Dragon Age 2 instead.
Yeah, other Dragon Age games are very different, but this is Dragon Age Origin for the modern age. Like, there's so much like variety in your choices and what you can do in the story.
So many things you can do that actually it's hard to talk about.
I do like there's one particular thing you can do. Like, I don't think any other game would let you do, but they let you do it. You know,
I think I know what you're talking about.
That's like
It's
so
such a
good.
great moment.
It is so good that moment. Like, I don't want other games to let you do that.
Super Jackie too. I'm just gonna say
you can be super
But
jerk.
then the thing is, you can also be super nice about things. So then your character just bouncing around like I'm a jack to some people, but not others.
I was an oath-breaking paladin who did some really bad things, but overall a pretty good guy.
I'm a mage who did Jackie things to people.
I really also like the combat. I think it's better than Divinity. I don't know. Divinity was weird. I think
they definitely
this feels a lot
whacked out issues they had with Divinity.
This flows a lot better. You don't just get killed automatically at the beginning of the game like in Divinity.
Yeah, you wander out of town, you get slaughtered in that. That doesn't happen here.
I'm not too high on the party members. There's someone I think stand out like Gale and Shadowheart.
I'd say yeah, that's probably be the best.
The rest of the cast, a lot of them I didn't care for too much, but I think it didn't matter. That's how good
none of them
else.
Really aggravated me to play.
Several of them end up dead in mine.
Oh yeah,
them.
That's a given, I guess.
I don't know anything about Karlach because I cut her head off.
I actually like Karlach. I feel like Karlach was probably one of the better party members, but you should have right off the bat.
I cut her head off.
We can say these things because they're not spoilers. Because you cannot do that.
Yes, there's so many choices. Honestly, I'm probably like one of the few people that cut her head off.
Yeah, I'm betting that's not hot. Unless you're playing like I either
I'm not a psychopath.
Dumb guy or an idiot or well, I guess you're evil. I don't. What were you doing?
I'm an oath breaking. I didn't break. That wasn't considered oath breaking though. I don't know. I don't really know why my oath broke, but I got cool when I broke my oath too. First I was really like, huh, what? But I was like, actually, no, this fits my character. I did realize now that I'm playing Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 after that it's very, very different. The combat, like, that's not even similar at all. Which surprised me.
More than 20 years.
I mean, it's a different developer, too. So.
That was BioWare, wasn't it?
Yeah, original BioWare. Who made Dragon Age Origins, which this is a sequel to.
Well, everyone doesn't like what BioWare's done since then. I feel like... Oh, there's some people like what they've done.
Oh, music's great in this, too.
Oh, yeah, there's a certain boss fight that I really like the music to that.
I didn't fight him.
No, you didn't. You know about it at least.
Yes.
But there's
so much
line there you didn't even do that whole quest line then.
There's so much stuff that you can miss, and it's like, oh, that whole thing I missed. I do think Act 3 is the weakest part of the game.
Yeah, that's supposed to prevent so much into Act 1 and 2 that once you actually reach Baldur's Gate, it's called Baldur's Gate, and you don't actually spend that much time in the city.
And once you get there, it's like, oh, I like the earlier parts better. But it also the ending. Another game, this game did not nail the ending. They added
epilogue. It's very Dragon Age Origins-y, actually.
True. Oh, I do. I mean, I guess it's nailing the ending. I mean the exact ending. Because the lead up is good.
Oh yeah, the lead up is good. Yes.
But just like the end, I didn't feel like you get much closure. But
that is true. It's not much closure on that.
It added epilogue though. There's an epilogue now though. I did play the epilogue. I don't think the epilogue's too good. I do have a save
right before the ending, but you said it wasn't that good, so I never bothered to go back to it.
And it ties things up. It's better than what it was, but I still don't think it's that satisfying.
Oh, that's because they're planning.
That's the only thing that holds it back.
They're gonna have DLC, so that'll.
I don't know if I'm gonna play DLC, but
that's
maybe.
why. So that's why I didn't put it.
But that's the only thing holding back from being one of the greatest games of all time, I think.
So, it's probably not one of the greatest games of all time for me, but
definitely
one of the
I do think this year though is stronger overall, top to bottom, of our top 10s than past years.
Top to bottom, probably yes. Yeah, actually yes.
Wait, what was your top? Do you remember what your number 10 from last year was?
It was God of War, actually.
Oh, yeah, I think that's mine too. So yeah,
You should have went with number 9 because my number 9 was Monarch, and no one's thinking about that now.
People really should. Yeah, I do not like God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, this is a shame because the original reboot was really great.
I love the original God of War. This isn't a God of War podcast. It's a conversation. Let's not talk about that anymore. All right.
The top 10 years. We got that. We listed them. Pikmin 4, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Armored Core 6, Wolong, Resident Evil 4, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Lies of P, and Baldur's Gate 3.
All right. My top 10 were. I don't even remember.
You don't remember. Or it was Lies of P was on it, trust me.
No, Lies of was not on it.
It was 9. I was away from 9 to 5.
All right. My top 10 was Process Elimination, Alan Wake 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Dead Space, Tears of the Kingdom, Fire Emblem Engage, Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Armored Core 6, Baldur's Gate 3. So we definitively decide Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game of 2023.
Yes, definitively. And we're not wrong. We can't be.